This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tehl Tanner.
It's been a beautiful day, I tell you what. Lancer Locker on a Monday. My name is Tehl Tanner. Let's talk about this one. I spoke with Andy Bernatow earlier today, the athletic director for Mount Marty University. He is today's featured guest. Full show just for Andy Bernatow because he's special and we love him. Andy is the guest today. Andy Bernatow and I spoke this morning, and I'm not going to lie, we went way over time from what we were supposed to do. So we're just going to go ahead and get straight in to that conversation. This conversation I had with Andy Bernatow this morning. All right, we're back here on the Lancer Locker now with the athletic director of Mount Marty University, Andy Bernatow. Andy, it's good to have you in once again. It's been a minute since we've talked in the studio.
Yeah, I always enjoy coming and talking with you guys, especially when I'm talking to you guys about athletics in Mount Marty.
You've done a pretty good job over the first couple of years of your tenure as AD, if you don't mind me saying. But let's talk about some of the big things that you do as AD, and that is coaching hires. You've had a lot of them over the last 2 years.
Yeah, that not necessarily by design, but the reality of coaching these days. Just the longevity isn't as long as it used to be, and so we've had a lot of hires, but now we're creating some stability and a great working environment for these coaches. So really excited to see what this group of coaches, what they can do for this athletic department. It's been fun. We've had a lot of progression in the recent months.
I'm excited to talk about some of the environmental things that we talk about with Mount Marty and the coaches and how they work together, but that's going to be a little later in the show. Let's talk about some of the new hires and your thoughts on their first seasons. Coach Alan Bertram, head coach of the women's basketball program, a 2-win team last year that came in and took the number 4 team in the nation down to the wire. Got a couple of great GPAC wins both at home and on the road. What are your thoughts on Alan Bertram after his first season?
Doing a great job. I know coaching at the collegiate level is new to him, but coaching isn't new to him, and running a program isn't new to him, and it really shows in regards to how he goes about things, the level of discipline he has, and he's really accelerated things for that program. And women's basketball is, it's been really good for Mount Marty over the years, and we hit a little bit of a downturn, and now he's getting turned back around, and he'll get it back to where it needs to be. But I do feel like he's ahead of schedule, and I didn't expect as many wins as they had this year. But on top of that, it starts with I didn't expect as many recruits as he was able to bring in, and then the level of recruits were pretty good. And then he's off and running again this year, where he's putting together another quality recruiting class, and that's one of the big things with being successful is you have to stack quality on top of quality, and you have to be able to create depth, and you have to be able to create when they're practicing, when we don't get to see it the day in and day out grind, where they're having a competitive and healthy internal battles for who gets on the court. And he's established a lot of those things in a short amount of time, and really got things ahead of schedule. He's probably, in my mind, of what I want to see in regards to progression and, what's acceptable as, hey, we got the right guy in place. He's probably a year or 2 years ahead of schedule in regards to what he's doing. So, and that's a huge compliment to say that, but definitely been impressed with the work that he's put in.
Let's talk about one of the other new head coaching hires. Guy came in and instantly became the most experienced coach on the staff. Dan Fitzsimmons from South Dakota came in, the new head track and field coach. The indoor season went really well for Mount Marty. The outdoor season coming up. Can you tell me about Dan Fitzsimmons and what he brings to Mount Marty?
Well, anyone knows Dan knows that he's really invested. And he loves the track and field world, but more importantly, he loves working with kids and working with others. So Dan has the ability to make the people around him better, and we're seeing some of that. And there's a natural comfort level with a guy like that that's invested, loves this community. He's a really good fit for Mount Marty, and you can tell he loves his Catholic faith, and he is a faith-driven coach. And it's nice to be able to have a guy the caliber of Dan to come in, and this is a journey for all of us, but having him come in and be able to, the leadership qualities, not only that it's that he provides for his program, but the leadership qualities that he is providing for the other coaches in the athletic department. He's not afraid to get up and talk and help try to educate and support these coaches. So he's doing a great job with that program. And Randy left, and when he retired, he had worked really hard and had some things really set up, with him and Jonathan Becker, the head assistant, the associate head coach, where there is a lot of talent in there. But now you can see that Coach Fitzsimmons is putting a stamp on things, and anyone that knows Coach Fitz knows that the determination and the will, desire, they run at a high level, and he gets that out of his athletes, and we're really starting to see that with this program. So, the men's program has done a really good job of rising up in the ranks in the GPAC level. And when you do that, then with how strong the GPAC is in track and field, you're doing that at the national level. And our cross-country team had collectively their best finishes since we've joined this conference. So that's, he's Bob Tereshinsky, who I played for at Mount Marty, would always use the term instant mashed potatoes, just add water. Well, that's what we got with Dan. You just got to add water and he'll take it off.
Just add water. I love that.
Yeah, he's pretty special.
Let's keep talking about some Mount Marty athletics. I'd be amiss to not ask you about the newest addition to programs at Mount Marty, that being the football program. Just finished their second season, able to get 3 wins. We take a look at some of the other teams in the Great Plains Athletic Conference, some of the best ones out there that take about 8 years to get 3 wins. John did it in 2.
Yeah, and, baseball has driven me this way where I'm a huge data guy, and I want data, to overlap data, to confirm data. And so a lot of research has gone into this, to understand, are we headed in the right direction? And that coaching staff have been awesome, just what it takes to get a football program going. They say, the research shows us that it's 6 to 8 years to get something like that stabilized. And earlier I was talking about how Coach Bertram, I felt he was ahead of schedule, where these guys are ahead of schedule in terms of a historical reference of starting a new program and getting 3 wins. That's huge in year 2. And I know some people might out there just be like, oh, it's only 3 wins, but 3 wins is really uncommon for year 2. And now knowing that a strong majority, we did graduate a few seniors, and, you're not going to retain every kid, but a strong majority of that program is going to be back next year. And we just missed out on a few more wins. And, one of the biggest things is putting together, when you start a program, is putting together those offensive and defensive lines, and then depth, so then you're strong with special teams. And when you look at that, we've got a good amount of our offensive and defensive line coming back. And the depth's coming because our numbers are getting a little bit stronger. And guys, they're retaining at a level above the national rate in that program, which is great to see. Year 2, it's year 3. It's not that those things aren't supposed to happen. Like I said, it's a 6 to 8 year stabilization period, but a lot of it is just how hard those coaches work, how hard they work for the institution, how hard they work for their players, and what they want to see. Their vision for that program is great, but they understand that they got to plant seeds and they've got to water it, and they're doing a really good job of that. It's fun to watch those guys get after it.
Coach Bernatow, you mentioned recruiting. That instantly reminded me of how local all of your coaches across the board seem to be recruiting. A lot of Yankton kids staying in Yankton, a lot of area kids coming to Yankton.
That's an ultimate sign that you're on the right pathway. There's no exact science to recruiting, but just in general, and it doesn't really matter the program. It just, if you're going to be successful, you have to have the ability to recruit your backyard, and you have to have the ability to recruit your region. And we have to understand here the demographics of our region. There might not just be enough good players for us if we're looking to be competitive. So then you have to get where you're outwardly, and you got to be able to recruit the nation, and then the potential for international players. And if you look at the makeup of our rosters, we're starting to do that, and our coaches are starting to understand that. And usually then you have proportional rosters, and proportional in regards to numbers, the age of those numbers in terms of the school year that they're in, and then talent. So if you've got the ability to recruit in that form and fashion, it's a good thing, but you have to understand it all starts in your backyard. And now that we have multiple programs establishing that, it's going to be fun, because I know it's going to lead to success.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Bernatow, let's go ahead and take a break here on the Lancer. We'll come back with more with you in a moment.
All right, thank you.
This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. Let's take that break. Be back with more from the athletic director from the Mount Marty Lancers.
We were founded on innovation and a passion to help our customers. This is Chris Sawtell at Aztec in Yankton. We also want our employees to thrive and succeed every day. Our core values are more than something we list on a wall. We live them every day. We have openings in a variety of departments, sign-on bonuses up to $2,000, immediate benefits like retirement savings, paid holidays, bonus earnings, tuition reimbursement, and more. Build your career with the group that's built to connect from rock to road. Stop by for a walk-in interview or click on careers at aztecindustries.com.
What's the best beverage to enjoy while rooting on your team? 1919 root beer, of course. 1919 is brewed in small batches with only the finest ingredients, real sugar and real vanilla. The unique recipe and these choice ingredients make 1919 the creamiest, full-bodied draft root beer available. Find it in 12 packs and single-serve cans at grocery, convenience stores, and restaurants. 1919 is alcohol-free and contains no caffeine, making it a beverage of choice at any time for anyone in the family.
Don't just bank, be an explorer. Here at Explorers Credit Union, we do banking differently. As a not-for-profit, member-owned credit union, we know that financial wellness isn't a destination, it's a journey. We're here to help you set goals and reach them with the financial tools, expertise, and support you need. If you're looking for better rates on your loans and local service from your friends and neighbors, Explorers Credit Union has you covered. Learn how we can help your financial journey at explorerscu.com.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Are you ready to take home the country's best chicken? This is Annie at Yankton Pizza Ranch. Our chicken is hand-breaded daily, crispy on the outside, and juicy on the inside. If you're feeding the entire family or planning the perfect party, order from your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway or give us a wing at 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround 'em up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
I'm Kevin Melm, store manager at Yankton's Lumberland. So interior design, we like to take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. People don't realize that taking a sofa and just by adding a rug, accessories, pictures, things of that nature to really make the room pop with maybe some color. It's absolutely free. So if you need help, we can draw out your room, sketch your room, come to your home, and it's a free service, absolutely.
Free interior design service at Yankton Slumberland, located at 2401 Broadway Avenue.
Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more. All at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmock cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. For your convenience, you can call and order curbside pickup or order online at meatlodge.com. The Meat Lodge in Yankton, on the way to the lake on Highway 52.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the U.S., causing a quarter of all deaths annually. With February designated as American Heart Month, the Yankton Medical Clinic reminds you to be proactive when it comes to your heart health. See your provider to discuss your risk for heart disease and preventative steps that are right for you. Don't let yourself or your loved ones become a victim of heart disease. Call the Yankton Medical Clinic for an appointment today. So much care, so close to home.
All right, we are back on the Lancer Locker. My name is Tehl Tanner with Andy Bernatow, the athletic director of the program. In the middle of our break, he asked me can we talk about more things? You really love being able to talk about these guys. One of the things you want to talk about is the men's basketball team and the trajectory they're on.
Man, yeah, that's really exciting when you look at the roster. We had two of the better freshmen this year in Cole Bowman and Tash Lunday, and then they had two other freshmen that set out with redshirt years that are extremely talented, and then Coach Othier and JJ and Dylan are putting together another good recruiting class, kind of like what we just talked about in terms of how it's got a backyard feel to it. with the recruits they're bringing in, and a good strong regional feel to it. And I'm really excited just to see where that's going to go, because they're same thing I talked about Coach Bertram in terms of being ahead of schedule. We've got some nice young talent. I think that's going to do some real fun things, and we're seeing bits and pieces of it. You talked about the women and the game that they had versus the number four team in the nation toward the end of the year, taking them down to the wire, and you can see that progression. And men's basketball had a lot of bright spots, and those bright spots are going to become consistent where that's the reality on a night in and a night out basis. But it's going to be fun. I think of the late 90s. You had Chuck Iverson and Jim Thorson, and they're competing for conference championships and going off, and in some ways, men's basketball got real close to a national championship, and just the atmosphere that was created. I think we're on the verge. We're not too far away if we can continue on this pathway where Simple Arena is going to be the place to be on Wednesday and Saturdays to watch those two teams play. So really excited about what they're doing there.
That's very exciting. You also wanted to talk about some spring sports, which I absolutely wanted to ask you about. We'll start with softball. Tell me about this program. They started off 4-0, one of the better starts in their history. Let's talk about the softball program.
It's been fun to watch this program evolve. I thought Coach Fernandez did a good job with it, and after Coach Fernandez, Coach Bruckner, Tate Bruckner, is one of my former assistants, grabbed it and was able to take the foundation that Coach Fernandez had and just up it up a notch, right? And with doing that, then you're talking about, we're getting into conference tournaments. Well, then Coach Bryant was able to grab it last year, and it wasn't about getting into a conference tournament. It was about going and winning that thing. And, one of those things with coaching is graduations happen. As much as sometimes we don't want it, there's some kids you wish that would play for you for 20 years, but they get their degree and they get a really nice job, and that job's going to pay them some money, and they have to move on, right?
Fair enough.
And so now, to come out 4-0 was a great sign of what she's done on the recruiting front in terms of having to have a foundational base, so there's not a letdown from year to year when you have this huge graduating class. And it's fun to see, because it's same results, different last names, right? And so they went 4-0 week one, and then this last weekend they went 0-4. But if you watch the games the weekend one, they had 2 walk-off wins, which is great to see early in the year, getting in those situations and knowing that you have kids that can compete like that in those tough situations. But this past weekend, it didn't go as well, and it was great level place. They played some great competition, and everything was competitive, and they had 3 really close games, 2 one-run games that didn't go their way. But the week before, if 3 or 4 plays go differently, you walk out of there. This is the roller coaster of athletics. You walk out of there maybe 1-3, and this past weekend, there's just a few more things that went their way. They would have drove home from Davenport, Iowa, pretty excited because they would have went 3-1. But all things said, that softball program is, we've created some consistency and stability, and it's been real fun to watch that occur. And Coach Bryant's doing a good job. You set the mark really high with that first year that she had, but when you just see the numbers and the level of recruits come in, and I'll go in and peek in and watch hitting, and you can just see the natural athleticism of some of the swings. You just know that they're in a good place, and it's going to be fun to see what she does in terms of putting her own stamp on this program. The first initial stamp's pretty crazy, on the doorstep of the World Series. So she's definitely doing a good job, and we have a new head coach this year in Josh Tykrow, and he's gotten off to a 9-2 start, and the pitching staff is performing at an amazing level, as great as we've ever seen it, and right now as great as anyone in the nation in all of college baseball. So that's fun to watch, and I know every year you've got your obstacles to get through. They're scoring runs, but that offense has got the ability to do a lot of good things, and just need to get out there and play and continue to stay on a consistent. Where they're not sitting at home for 2 weeks because of the weather. If we can just keep them playing and getting those guys at bats, their talent will show through. So, but that 9-2 start, that's a pretty good start, and they've played some really nice teams. So we're definitely doing a good job there. And a sport that we have two sports that are on a good progression. Archery has been really good this year. Went out to Vegas to finish third in that, one of the best competitions in the world. Went to Minneapolis. They're not really a team scoring in that, but they dominated it. This past weekend they competed again, but one of those things is they finished sixth in the nation last year, and they didn't win a national championship in team recurve. But I would say, if you looked at our roster per athlete, if you had a metric for that, we probably have the best roster. We just get beat out by the other teams in terms of climbing up into like competing for a national championship, just based on we don't have enough. We're running about 16 athletes. If it's proportional, you need 24 to 32. And as soon as we get that, I think immediately we're in the top 3. And we have a chance to even do it this year. It's just with being a little short on numbers there. That's a pretty good bunch. And then men's tennis and tennis in general, but men's tennis actually, we started the program about 6 years back, and we're really flipping the switch on that. We've got a local kid and the list kid, but we've got a lot of international kids on that team that can play. So it's going to be fun to see. They beat Bethany Lutheran came down last week and a half ago, and they picked up a win there. And that's only the second countable win in school history, but there's more wins on the horizon for that program. And in fact, that men's team, it's going to be fun to watch because I actually think they'll run right up the GPAC ranks really quickly here. So that's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch for sure. Coach Bernatow, let's go back just a little bit for a moment as we talk about baseball. You were the coach of that program for many years, 18, and you were able to see Josh Tykrow, who grew up in Yankton pretty much most of his life. You were able to, he was able to be your assistant, and now he is the head coach of this program. Can you just tell me a little bit about this guy and what Lancers fans should expect from him in his first season?
He's highly invested, and he's committed. And you're gonna see a guy he's gonna get after it, and he loves the game and he loves his players, and then that's definitely a great combination. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty, and you put all that in, determination, grit, love, compassion. A lot of those things lead to good things. And with this team, there's a lot of talent on this team, but people need to understand that he recruited a lot of that talent. He was the recruiting coordinator, so that kind of gives you his ability to communicate and provide a vision for incoming recruits to, hey, this is something you want to be a part of. And he's putting together another outstanding recruiting class. Same thing, a lot of local and regional. We have kids from Sioux Falls. We have, a Yankton kid in there. We have kids from Omaha, kids from Lincoln, kids from that area. So those are the places, those are baseball-rich places. So to be able to do that says a lot. And one thing that, for me, the comfort level is that staff is, you got Coach Tykrow, who's been with the program in some form or fashion since the fall of 2011. You got Bo Lofink, who came here, finished up his undergrad work, then was a GA. He came back. A kid that initially coached underneath me. You got Derek Nelson, and then you have Austin Wise helping out, and Nate Robertson, and Jet Weber, Wyatt McKnight, who came back to help out as a GA. Devin Gullickson helps out. They have all these coaches, but they've all have had a strong connection to the program. So, and one of their driving points of being back and coaching is because they love their experience. And there's a lot of value when you have people that are doing it that way. They're going to be there for the kids, and there's always peaks and valleys to this whole coaching deal. So when you have people that are invested that way, I feel like the opportunity for them to be able to get through those tough spots and minimize those tend to be a little bit better. So that's fun. It's fun to watch those guys have that success. A great group of young men in that program.
Well, Coach Bernatow, we are running out of time, but there are some things that I still want to ask you. A couple of things that Mount Marty does that I don't think it's very common at all, coaches meetings. For those of you unaware, Mount Marty brings in head coaches from pretty much every program and have meetings all as one group. What do you think that does for Mount Marty?
I think it does a lot. You want this to be a united front. I employ you, you employ me, family atmosphere. We're here for each other. I want the Medita vibe where I care about you and I want you to be successful, and then it's reciprocated. And really with those meetings, it's education, support, and then we have mentorship and leadership and coaching development in those. So, there's operational things we cover, and then there's coaching development that we cover, and that's not just all one voice. I take an active role in that. Dan Fitzsimmons has gotten up. John Micheletti has gotten up and presented. And then one neat twist of that is we have a Benedictine Leadership Institute, which Joe Rutten runs that, but Joe's a former baseball and wrestling coach, so he connects with the coach as well. He comes in once a month, but is in constant contact with our coaches. And that's fun. That part of it is fun in terms of the leadership part of it and the development part of it, of watching these coaches grow. And then it creates a pretty good dynamic, and where it's a quality work environment, because one of the things I do with that is I get up there and I don't want these coaches to be afraid to talk to me. I don't want these coaches to think that I didn't ever make mistakes, because I made plenty of them along the way, and some of them are pretty funny. So I'm not afraid to share a story about some of my the things that I did along the way, are just the mistakes I made, or maybe they weren't mistakes, but this happened, So yeah, but yeah, those have been pretty have gone pretty well, and we can have open dialogue, and it was fun. We started these right away. It's something that Chuck did, but it was fun last year having Chuck there, because he's just a phenomenal guy, and he's kind of the same way. He knows that we want you to try to shoot for perfection, but along the way, we're going to have some mistakes that we're going to learn from that are going to help make us better.
Well, Coach Bernatow, I really appreciate your time coming in today. We are way over time, but I still got to ask you one more thing. Overall goal for this next year. You're going into spring right now, then you've got your fall and winter season coming up. Overall goals for Mount Marty.
In terms of the athletic part of it, just being able to behind the scenes set things that are going to allow for a foundation and stability. And I just really want to see us keep it as simple as we can, in terms of, I just want to see us continue to progress. If you've noticed, we're starting to win a little bit more. We're starting to retain a little bit better. That success in terms of winning allows you to recruit a little bit better. Retention success allows you to develop a little bit better. Leadership then gets better within your program. So if we're doing those little behind-the-scene things, you're going to continue to see us win more and more.
Well, Coach Bernatow, I appreciate your time. I just realized I've been calling you Coach Bernatow. Now, Athletic Director Andy Bernatow is what I should be referring to you as.
It's all right. You can call me Coach. I've been called worse.
Well, that was Athletic Director Andy Bernatow on the Lancer Locker. I appreciate your time coming in. It's always fun when I get you in the studio.
I appreciate you guys.
This is KYNT, the Lancer Locker. Let's take a break, wrap things up in a couple of minutes.
This sports season, keep your athlete hydrated with sparkling ice. Choose from a rainbow of colors and flavors, each sourced from nature with vitamins, antioxidants, and zero sugar. Sparkling ice. Tease your taste buds with tropical flavor. And rehydrate with Prime Hydration. The perfect combination of flavor and function, changing how you refresh, replenish, and refuel. With 5 awesome flavors and no added sugar, you're getting the taste you want without anything you don't. Prime Hydration, the perfect boost for every endeavor.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. all from Core Trust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit coretrustbank.com today.
Member FDIC.
I used to vape to deal with stress, but I was stressed when I didn't use it, had trouble focusing. Then I quit. Coach Nick had great tips. Really helped.
I thought vaping was safer than smoking, but I was still inhaling so many chemicals. Walking around the campus left me winded. It's not worth risking my health. Thanks to the Quit Line, I'm 3 months vape-free.
Use a Quit Line coach, and you are 2 times more likely to stay quit. There's no better way to quit. Make your quit stick. Call 1-866-SD-QUITS now. You're going to love your quit.
United Way of Greater Yankton uplifts individuals and families with measurable programs that deliver long-term results. United, they confront the struggles, helping create pathways out of poverty, provide access to critical healthcare services, and offer opportunities for youth and adults to reach their full potential. You can help by making a donation at yanktonunitedway.org/give or by texting Yankton to 41444 today.
When you need to be sure, make it Sureco. Smart Trailer from Sureco is still the most complete line of electric accessories for your grain trailer. Smart accessories such as the 4500 Series HD electric tarp, Pro Trap and Auto Trap electric hopper doors, and the Drive Max Auger Drive Kit from Sureco both offer convenience and peace of mind for operators. When only the best will do, give us a call at 1-800-474-8756 or find us online at sureco.com. Make it Sureco.
Purchasing a home in a competitive market can be frustrating. Having to make quick decisions is stressful. That's why it's important to be guided by an experienced real estate professional. I'm Deb Speck with Vision Real Estate, and as an agent with more than 15 years of experience, I'll guide you through the home buying process and give you information necessary to make the right decisions in your home search. Call me today at 664-5555.
Well, I tell you what, it was great to have Andy Bernatow back in the studio. It's been a little bit since I was able to talk with him on this show. We went way over time, as I said before, but yeah, that interview with Andy Bernatow I had a little earlier today. It was great talking with him. I am just so excited to see what Mount Marty is going to do in the future. Hiring him was the first move that was made in this whole string of these last 2 years where just so many different moves have been made, and almost every single one of them seems to be the correct move, and every single program is just on the rise. You got to just love the momentum that is going on at Mount Marty right now. As we take a look at our upcoming schedule for the next couple of days, first off, the Mount Marty men's track and field and women's track and field programs will be competing at the NAIA Indoor Track and Field Championships March 2nd and 3rd there for the Indoor Track and Field Championships. It's going to be a huge weekend. The Mount Marty softball team as well will also be in action on Friday, Saturday. On Friday, they play York University and Avila University down in Wichita, Kansas. Also in Wichita, Kansas on Saturday, they play Mid-American, Nazarene University, and Kansas Christian. 4 more matchups over the weekend for the softball team. For the baseball team that is 9-2 overall, once again starting this season, they are also in action March 4th and 5th, Friday, Saturday. 2 games down in Atchison, Kansas. Benedictine College doubleheader. 1 game Saturday, 1 game Sunday. This is KYNT, the Lancer Locker on a Monday afternoon. That's going to do it for our coverage because we are overtime. And I got to get out of the booth before my boss comes in and yells at me. And I like my job, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. My name is Tehl Tanner. This has been the Lancer Locker. I hope you enjoyed the show, the talk with Andy Bernatow. We'll be back in the booth next week as well because I have to talk with a few more coaches. A couple of coaches I want to get in. We're going to talk with Josh Tykrow. We're going to talk with Caleb Bryant, both of those two a couple of times throughout the spring. I don't know if that's going to be next week or not, but we are going to be talking Mount Marty cheer because an amazing announcement earlier today, Mount Marty has a coach of the year. Joe Erickson, the cheer coach for Mount Marty University, has been named the coach of the year in the Great Plains Athletic Conference, which is just amazing. Congratulations to Joe Erickson. Mount Marty, you can't say enough about what they are doing there. So congrats to Joe, and I hope to have you on here sometime soon. This is KYNT, the Lancer Locker. That's going to do it for our show today. We'll be back in the booth next Monday from 5:30 to 6. ish. We'll see you next time.